The quickest way to sabotage your relationship is when you embrace distorted thinking. To start, one way of distorted thinking would be off-track focusing. This is when we often focus on past mistakes rather than how we can be better in the now moment. This often keeps us stuck. It keeps us unable to accept the past for what it is, and definitely unable to release and move on from the past. Sometimes this can cause a person to attach themselves to their ex-partners, past situations, and just overall various other experiences that should have been released. Another distorted way of thinking would be something that we call emotional reasoning. This is when we assume that the way we feel truly reflects the way things truly are. So it can cause us to be out of touch with reality at times. And while there's nothing wrong with embracing our feelings, we must be able to recognize our emotions from actual reality. A third way of distorted thinking is when we view situations or we view people in an all or nothing manner. I personally know someone who told their fiancé that the options for marriage were either now or never. They pretty much gave them an ultimatum. So it's like telling your fiancé that if you don't marry me now, then we have to break up. However, I'm sure many of you can relate or know someone who can relate to a relationship where someone was given an ultimatum or a now or never or a all or nothing type of option that they had to comply with, or either the breakup was inevitable. And then on the other hand, many of you may have never experienced this or know anyone who has ever experienced this. A fourth way of distorted thinking would be predicting. This is when someone actually anticipates that there will be a negative outcome about a situation. And when doing this, they have already pretty much accepted the worst scenario to develop, as if it were already a fact. This would be like speaking it into existence. This could be someone who is afraid of committing because they have already prophesized that their partner will betray them, or that the relationship won't last for one reason or another. Or it could be another reasoning where someone has some sort of negative, distorted thinking or prediction before the relationship even gets off of the ground. Another way of distorted thinking would be mind reading. This is when someone is claiming to know what the other is thinking without any proof or valid facts. I once had a partner that would say to me, "You don't love me." But this was an assumption. I often felt that this was his actual strategy for attention, because I never did anything to prove that to be true. One of the most important parts about this is when we're communicating with our partners, we must focus on attunement. And this means teamwork. So, you don't have to agree on everything. Sometimes it may be better to agree to disagree. However, you do have to be able to communicate effectively by sharing your true thoughts and your true feelings. So honesty is important. It's very important when it comes to solving problems with your partner and just overall getting along.